manager. What would you do with another 100 years?
Try to get better at life.
What do you mean?
Try to get better at my management of life. The entire experience, like how much of it is positive, not just positive for me, but positive for other people that I interact with. How much of it, how much better have I gotten at stand-up, at podcasting, at creating things, at writing things, at expressing myself. You know, all those things, all the things that I'm doing now. If I had to live 5 more years, what would I do in 5 more years? Try to get better at what I'm doing.
Right.
If I had 95 more years other than that, well, I'll definitely get better. If my body works, I'd like to keep doing jiu-jitsu. I'd like to keep doing martial arts. I like to keep working out. I like yoga. It's fun. It feels good.
You do a lot of yoga lately.
Do it a lot. Yeah, I'm doing it 3 times a week now.
God.
Yeah, man. It's I think more things you do, the better you get at doing things. And I think the better you get at doing things, the more of an understanding you have of yourself. And if you're being totally honest, the more of an understanding you have of yourself, the better you are at managing life. So I just try to get better at managing life.
Like, and so defining life, managing life as in knowing where to place your energy?
Knowing where to place your energy for sure. Knowing what something actually means versus how it makes you feel. Knowing why things make you feel a certain way, and why they could feel totally different in a different day, in a different circumstance. Like how are you going into things neutral, or are you going into things loaded up already with emotions and with negativity, and then you immediately react from this loaded up position instead of from a neutral position where you can analyze it and decide that nothing truly has any meaning other than the meaning that you give it.
That's the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman.
Oh.
Yeah, about he won a Nobel Prize in economics.
Really?
Yeah, and he talks about that he did all those experiments, right? So just about getting to know how your body, how your fast-thinking brain reacts, and learning that sort of getting a handle on your mechanisms and how even the way you hold your body. So if you're smiling, you're going to think something's actually funnier than if you're frowning. They had people hold a pencil in their teeth sideways like that, and when they saw a joke, they thought it was funnier than if they were holding a pencil like this with the point out and they were in a frown, they thought it wasn't as funny. Right? So, or when they were told to take a test and come up with sentences out of the words gray and wrinkled and sunshine and bald, they moved to the next test slower because those words made them think of old people. And so the language you use, how you hold your body, all those things affect how you are going to interact with data and stimulus that you're presented with. So the state that you are in is going to influence how you react to something.
I think we all are aware of that, though, right? You're aware of that. You know, like sometimes you're
not about myself.
Ramped up.
Yeah.
If you're ramped up, you don't want to be exposed to bad news, because then you'd be like, what the fuck? You know, just compound. And we all know people who are always ramped up, and they're always having bad things happen to them, and it could be connected.
Yeah. Do you ever find that you get really, I have to guard myself against negative shit because it'll distract me from my work?
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Well, I mean, if you wanted to, you could fill your head up every day with horror stories
that are not helpful.
Not helpful, and also unmanageable. Like, again, we're talking about the 7 billion people in the world that you're getting news from. You're getting all the events that happen to 7 billion people, and only the extraordinary ones, the fucked up ones, are the ones that are interesting. The guy who takes that truck and runs it through the crowd, those are the ones that are interesting. Forget about all the people handing out flowers and inviting people in their homes for tea. All those things that are taking place at the same time don't attract our attention.
That's interesting.
So it does become a real problem. If you want to look at the experiences of 7 billion people, you can find a lot of horrific shit. But if you want to look at the experience of one person, you, Bryan Callen, your interactions are almost entirely positive. Your day is almost entirely filled with laughter and friendship and fun and joking around and getting on stage and performing and doing podcasts and being with your family and having a wonderful time. So you can have a distorted view of the world by being too aware of the whole world. And then people will tell you, well, hey, man, you can't live your life in a fucking bubble, man. No, that's called life. Everybody lives in a bubble, you cunt. Like, that's why Meryl Streep can go on TV and say that mixed martial arts isn't art. Like, why is she saying that? Because that's her bubble. In her bubble, that makes sense. She could say that. If she said that, if we were all backstage at the UFC and she said that, people would be like, who the fuck? What?
Right.
What the fuck did she just say?
Right.
That is so ridiculous. Why would you say that?
Right.
Why would you come here where people love and worship this and say that? Why would you come here when people find understand the importance in this sport, in this art form, and why would you downplay it that way?
Sure.
Well, you did because she's in her bubble. Everybody's in a fucking bubble.
Of course.
There's no way you could not
be good at anything. You have to create a bubble, I would argue. Like, because if I want to write stand up and I'm walking down and I start thinking about the drug cartels in Mexico and how they kill innocent people or whatever it might be, I'm going to get ramped up and I'm going to go, what would I do in that situation? I'm going to get full of fear, and I'm not going to be thinking about what I got to be thinking about, which is, whatever it might be, or maybe I can use that in my stuff. But I find I have to really guard against unhelpful thinking.
You should.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I refuse to go down all these goddamn conspiracy holes that everybody wants you to go down and read this and read that. Like, I don't want to. I don't want, man, you should know about it. No, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. I can't know about everything.
Right.
I fucking can't. There's not enough time in the day, and I don't know who killed Kennedy, but it was a long time ago, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't want to look into it anymore.
Right.
Maybe one day I'll change my mind.
Yeah.
But you can't say that someone has to go down these roads, or you have to pay attention to this, or you have to pay attention to that.
There's too much work to be done.
There's too much.
Yeah.
If you want to find out all the threats that ISIS poses to civilization, Jesus fucking Christ. How much time do you have? Do you want to find out how dangerous Putin really is? Boy, how much fucking time do you have?
Right.
How much time do you have? Do you want to find out all the different potential gender roles that people play and gender identities that people cling to, and all the different types of sexuality that exists and perversion and how many people jerk off on feet? And
It's
don't have any time.
It's high-tech procrastination. If you do think that way, it keeps you away from yourself.